Did you conduct any specific analysis on how your changes would impact seniors? Yes or no, sir?
So, ma'am, the policy changes that I...
Yes or no, sir?
The policy changes that I embarked upon were not the ones that you identified in your...
So you didn't do any analysis to see how seniors would be impacted. Okay, let's move on. Did you do an analysis to see how veterans might be impacted, knowing that so many of our postal workers are veterans, we employ so many veterans, that they aren't getting their medication and that they rely on 80%. Did you do a specific analysis to see how veterans would be impacted?
The only change that I made, ma'am, was that the trucks leave on time. Theoretically, everyone should have got their mail faster.
So can you look me in the eye and all the Nevada veterans in the eye, all the Nevada seniors in the eye, and tell us that you will not continue in the policies in the future that you know that will harm my seniors, my veterans here in Nevada, and all of our seniors and veterans across this nation? Can you look us in the eye and commit to being sure that they have on-time delivery?
Well, I'm working towards on-time delivery, ma'am. Yes, I can commit to that.
Thank you. And so did you do any analysis about the fees if mail is late, the late fees that people would get when they paid their rent or their car payment or their utility bill if the mail is slowed down, and the impact that the charges and those fees would have on working families? Is there any analysis about the impact of late delivery by you on that, sir? Yes or no, please?
The analysis that we did was that if we moved the mail on schedule, that all late deliveries would have been improved. That's the analysis.
Well, obviously that isn't the case, so we need to continue this.
For a variety of reasons. The analysis we did would show that we would improve service to every constituent.
So that's great. So can you provide me by this Sunday, if I understand you correctly, you have an analysis that will show that this should have improved it, although we are finding out through thousands and thousands of contacts to our office, to our connections, that it has not been the case. So this is frankly unacceptable, and I would like to see the analysis that this was based on to our offices by this Sunday. Can you commit to that, sir?
No, ma'am.
Can you commit to providing it to us at all, sir?
I will get back to you on that.
You cannot commit to providing the American people the analysis that you use to base your decisions on about their very important medications, their Social Security checks, and all the other things. You won't commit to the American people to be transparent?
Senator, I will go back and get the truck schedule, the analysis that designed the truck schedule that I directed
Can you commit to transparency, sir? That's all I'm asking.
Very transparent.
Then yes, that means that you would provide us your analysis. If you're transparent, then ergo, that means you will provide us the data that you use to base these important decisions that impact people's lives. I want you to look in the camera. There are millions of people watching who are impacted every day by what you do. And please understand that. And so I want you to commit to the American people to transparency and provide us with the data that has been used to create these decisions.
Ma'am, I do not accept the premise, and I will provide you with the transportation schedule that I directed the organization to adhere to. Yes, I will do that.
Well, we appreciate that. I look forward to seeing that. I look forward to having future discussions with you.
This is Trump's Postmaster General Louis DeJoy at the first of two hearings, this time in front of the Senate, ahead of Monday's hearing with the House Oversight Committee. This hearing came amid nationwide backlash to DeJoy's obvious and egregious efforts to implement new policies that have had the immediate effect of delaying the mail. And this came at the same time that Trump has expressed his desire to sabotage the USPS as a way to ensure that mail-in ballots are delayed. Why? Because he is incapable of winning an election without cheating. And so as a result, DeJoy eliminated overtime for employees who'd otherwise taken advantage of it to ensure that every letter was delivered every day. He eliminated extra trips to ensure all mail would be delivered. He mandated that trips would start and stop based on the clock and not based on when the mail loading was complete. Carriers would also work based on the clock and not based on whether or not they were actually finished with delivery. And so what is obvious is that the priority is clearly not the mail getting delivered on time. Now, in this hearing, DeJoy claims that he did analysis showing that his changes would have actually improved service. And yet when Senator Rosen asks to see that analysis, DeJoy's answer is no. Just no. Because nothing says, "I'm being honest," quite like refusing any transparency whatsoever. If you didn't think DeJoy was lying before, his own testimony should pretty much eliminate all doubt. Now, despite what DeJoy says about improving service, that isn't at all what happened. The fact is that eliminating overtime and extra trips that had been in place to ensure the delivery of all mail did not improve service by any stretch of the imagination. It delayed it. You don't need some genius analysis here. This is basic cause and effect. DeJoy made policy changes that put cost-cutting measures in place at the expense of timely mail delivery, and as a result, the mail is being delayed. So DeJoy can pretend that the goal is improved service, but in reality, the goal is eliminating services to save money. So service won't be improved, it's gonna suffer. DeJoy even gives the excuse that he's working toward on-time delivery. But the only reason we don't already have it now is because of him. Had he not implemented his new policies, by the way, that were put into effect as part of a coordinated GOP scheme against mail-in voting, we wouldn't have this issue. Seniors would have their medications, small businesses would get shipments to customers on time, chicks wouldn't be arriving dead to farms. The fact is that in Trump and DeJoy's desperation to sabotage the Postal Service, they're not only ensuring delays with mail-in ballots, they're hurting regular Americans across the political spectrum. Receiving medication in the mail isn't only going to hurt Democrats, and in fact, rural America would be disproportionately impacted because they don't have a pharmacy at every corner. They don't have a UPS or FedEx that they can just pop into as an alternative to USPS. And rural America is actually more Republican than Democrat. So the people that are being the most impacted by these underhanded efforts are Trump's own voters. What we can take from this hearing is that Louis DeJoy has zero commitment to the goal of the post office. His only allegiance is to the guy who appointed him. And because Trump's priority is destroying the post office, then that's DeJoy's priority too. So he'll continue to gaslight members of Congress and the American people by telling us one thing and then doing the complete opposite, but we're not blind. So the onus is on Congress to ensure that DeJoy is held accountable, because what's abundantly clear is that, like everyone else in this administration, he will stop at nothing to do Trump's bidding of helping his re-election. While you're here, please subscribe to my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, where I take a deeper dive into the week's biggest stories and interview major players in the world of politics, like Kamala Harris, Adam Schiff, Katie Porter, Nancy Pelosi, Cory Booker, Eric Swalwell, and many more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts.